Hello, my name's John, filmmaker and mildly experienced walker, and in the summer of 2022, I decided to go on another adventure. I wanted to walk a 150-mile route around the magnificent county of Oxfordshire. There'll be highs.
There aren't many sights better than a footpath towards the end of the day.
And lows.
I can barely walk as is, let alone 12 more miles.
And lots of walking. Please enjoy this episode of the series I've so inventively called Walking Oxfordshire. The struggles of walking long distances had really made themselves apparent over the last 20 miles of my walk of Oxfordshire.
It's starting to get a bit too much. I've got 3 more days to do after this one. And one of them's the longest day.
Now past Bicester and in Oxford itself, I was having trouble. I knew I had a big decision to make about the future of this walk that evening, but for now, just passing through the city centre, I only had a short distance to do until I reached where I'd be staying that evening.
This is such a far cry from being on country roads in the middle of nowhere. That's it's busier than London. Jeez Louise. There's barely any space to move. You wouldn't have thought early on today I was alone for 4 miles on a footpath on the A34, would you? Hundreds of people here. Made it to Sportsview, I made it to Oxford. It was a really long day though. A really long day. Even though yesterday I did over 12,000 more steps, today somehow felt longer than yesterday. So, usual stuff now, put the footage on the hard drive and watch some TV, go out for dinner, come back, watch a bit more TV and sleep. Long day. Tomorrow's going to be even longer and the day after's going to be even longer than that.
After another very hard day of walking, I was incredibly happy to end up at Sportsview. On a less happy note, that evening I did a lot of thinking about the future of this journey, and I made a sad announcement the next day.
Hey, I'm in Oxford. I'm at the Sportsview bed and breakfast. Absolutely lovely place this. So if you're ever in Oxford, Sportsview B&B, that's where you got to end up. Sportsview B&B on Aberdeen Road. Okay, so today is leg 8 of the trip. I planned on walking from Oxford to Thame. I was doing a lot of thinking last night and I really don't think I can do today. I'm sorry. I'm very sorry. There's a few reasons why. Okay. Firstly, the last 2 days have been really long and really hard and really painful, and today's a similar length, and I just don't think I could do another one of those days.
If I were to attempt to walk to Thame, that'd be another 17 miles, and it'd be through uninteresting scenery with still fresh injuries. For this reason, I made the decision to walk to a specific point in Oxford, forfeit the rest of the planned walk, and get a bus to Thame to stay in the travel lodge I'd already booked. It was a shame, but there was an upside to it all. I felt like taking a day mostly to rest, which hugely helped me out with the final 2 days of the trip. You see, the penultimate day's journey would be from Thame to Henley, and that would be 18 miles, and this time, there'd be no bus I could take. Despite the sound of that, I still really wanted to do it, so I'd take this day to rest, and that would hopefully allow me to complete the leg I really wanted to do tomorrow. To make a long story short, I'd sacrifice today in order to make it possible for me to do the last 2 days. Currently though, I still wanted to achieve something when I was in Oxford, so I had 2 spots I wanted to make it to. Okay, don't worry, I'm not going to train home from here, but I'm just at Oxford Station just to put a marker down, because, you know, there's a few walks that I still want to do in Oxfordshire. Of course, one's to Thame, of course, because that's what I'm not doing today. That's going to start off from here. Then there's another one which is going to start off from here. And then there's another one which I might do, which is going to start from here. So 3 that started from here. Then there's the Uffington one, which I should have already done by this point of the walk, of the series. I've not done it yet, but at this point in the series.
and the Banbury to the northernmost point of Oxfordshire. So that's 5 additional walks I need to do, and 3 of them are starting off from this point here, Oxford Station. This is just putting down a marker to say that yes, I have been here, and you can still create an unbroken line of me walking all of Oxfordshire. Yeah, we've got to go east to where I want to end up. And after 2 miles from the station, I got to the other spot I wanted to end up at that day, the John Radcliffe Hospital. However hard today was, I had to make it here to the John Radcliffe, because this is a very important place for me. By the time this series goes out, 10 years beforehand, I was suffering from a blocked nose. That blocked nose, I later found out, was being caused by a tumour, and the only place in this area of the country that could remove it was here. So in early 2014, I spent 10 days in this hospital in some of the worst pain of my life, but thank God they got rid of it. And then I had checkups for about 5 years after that. I only got officially discharged in 2020. But yes, the walk had to take me here. This is a spot in Oxfordshire which probably means the most to me. No point hanging around, because on one hand they did save my life, on the other hand it does bring back some memories. Luckily after 10 days I was out of here. But yeah, thank you to all the people who were here at the time and are still here. Everyone who works at the hospital. Anyway, I think I've got about an hour till the bus. I don't mind. I've got enough time, more than enough time. Yeah, I had to come here, though. I had to come here, however emotional it is. After paying my respects, I made my way to the nearby Headington in order to catch the bus to Tame. This brings a rather sorry end to this part of the walk. I was hoping to get to Tame. If you asked me this time yesterday, maybe a bit earlier, I'd probably said yeah, I would definitely get to Tame today, but it's just so hard with this ankle. I can barely walk as is, let alone 12 more miles. I'll try my best to do Henley tomorrow. Tame today, I've got to do another time. I get the bus to Tame, at least I can. I can't get the bus from Tame to Henley. That must give me encouragement to walk that bit. I don't think about it. I have walked to here from Caversham Bridge via all of Western Oxfordshire up to Banbury through Bicester and Oxford, so it's not bad, is it? Must be about 100 miles I've walked. Quite busy around here. Next shot I get will be me getting on the bus. To say this bus ride was disappointing is putting it mildly, but I promise you, I would not chicken out of the next full leg. For now, let's brighten the mood with a couple of extra legs of the walk I did much later on, centering on Oxford. If you remember a few episodes back on day 3 of the walk, I initially wanted to get to the town of Witney before I arrived at Burford. However, because I was having difficulties even at this early stage, I decided not to make the 5th largest town in the county a part of the major walk, but settled for getting there another time. I couldn't possibly come from Witney, but I will make it to Witney another time, and you will see that, depending on when I do it. 4 months later, I found myself outside Oxford Station again, ready to start this walk. Alright, we're back outside Oxford Station again for chronologically the 2nd time in this walk, 3rd time even. I don't even know. I started writing the series, but I haven't finished. I haven't even started editing it yet. What I do know is this is the first of 2 extra walks. This one, I've got to get to Witney and end up in Carterton. I will explain the full plan for the day here. The plan to get to Carterton in order to link this walk back to the major section was to set off in a westerly direction from Oxford Station under the A34 on A420 in the direction of Ensham. From there I'd meet the A40, walk along that for 3 miles to enter Witney, have a drink there, and then go a shortish distance southwest via Bryce Norton to Carterton, where I'd catch a bus back to Oxford. With 16.5 miles to do and not a lot of time in this episode to give great detail, I progressed out of Oxford towards Ensham. just coming up to the Swinford Toll Bridge. It doesn't seem to be a charge for pedestrians, which is good. It's weird though. The toll sign, effective from 1994. I think by now, 5 pence is worth half as much as it was then. It's crazy. 1994. It's older than me.
Shortly after crossing this bridge, I came up to Ensham, a picturesque village with a great looking local centre. Originally, none of my route went through Ensham, but I'm glad this one did, as it's probably the best village I came up to in the county. Anyway, north of there lies the A40, where I'll be for the next 3 miles.
Right, we are now on the A40 again. I've been on this road quite a few times, and I will be on this road quite a few times for the rest of the series. There won't be a lot of filming though, because there's not a lot to film on a road like this. So yeah, in about 3 miles, we'll get to the slip road, which will lead towards Whitney.
Now in Whitney, it wasn't too much further until I reached the town centre. With it being located only 1.5 miles from the foot of the Cotswolds, it has that same distinct building style as places like Burford, Chipping Norton, or Corsham from the A4. Whitney is obviously much larger than any of these places, and when I planned the route, it was a tough decision to choose between staying either here or Burford on day 3. On paper, Whitney sounds like it would have made more sense to spend the evening, as there are more options for dinner and it's a bit cheaper. But I chose Burford instead because I fancied somewhere more scenic and closer to the edge of the county. I am glad I made the effort to get to Whitney though, if for no other reason than to add another Wetherspoons to my list. While at the company of weavers, I discovered I was still 2 hours from Carterton, and not wanting to be late, I scurried out of the pub and out of the town.
So that was Whitney. I've already said a few words on the town. Yeah, it's alright. You're now heading in the direction of Carterton. The only reason I'm going back there is to link up the route. But yeah, it's about 2 hours till we get there. I think I'll wait in that general direction, I suppose.
With the sun noticeably lower in the sky due to it being September when I filmed this, making it very difficult to get a good shot, I still made it to Carterton. Again.
Well, I've done it. I've linked the route back to where I was back on day 3 of the walk. Golden Eagle was where I had those 2 pints, and yeah, I don't plan on hanging around here for long, to be honest. So yeah, bus there to Oxford. I'm going to see if I can get on that. If I can't, I think they're every 20 minutes, so I'm safe. It only took about 8 hours to get here. That's very good actually, I think. And this is the hardest extra walk. But the 2 that will follow, well, yeah, 2 that will follow, will be easier. Right, let's get the bus back, because I don't want to be here for long.
Leaving Carterton for hopefully the last time, I made my way back to Oxford, closing the chapter on this extra leg. However, this wasn't the only one I did. There is another one that, unlike the others, I always planned to do after I completed the major section of the journey. I wanted to walk 14 miles from Didcot Parkway, which I passed all the way back on day 1 of the journey, to Oxford once again, traversing through the town of Abingdon-on-Thames. 3rd largest in the county, and once the county town of Berkshire. For a place so important, it's surprising none of my major route passed by it. One October morning, I found my way to Didcot once again.
I'm at Didcot Parkway for another extra walk. In real time, the last one I'm filming. Thank God. So in this one, we are going from Didcot to Oxford. I will explain it now, and why I wanted to do this specific leg.
The plan for this day would be making my way out of Didcot via the heavily industrialised northwest of the town, through the villages of Sutton Courtenay and Culham, while crossing the Thames. Again. Another Thames crossing later and I'd be at Abingdon, where I'd see the sights, have a drink, and then be on my way to Radley, Kennington, and finally get to Oxford. 14 miles before I got to the city, I was passing by the site of Didcot Power Station, and I gave my opinion on their once iconic towers.
Tell you one about Power Station and their effect on the environment, but they are iconic. I personally think they looked alright. Other people obviously didn't, and that's why they were demolished. So, Didcot Power Station, or what once was a much greater Didcot Power Station. As we're passing through Sutton Corney, and there's such a contrast between this pleasant village and Didcot Power Station. It's been less than an hour since I was passing by there, and I'm here, which is the village actually trapped in time. Lovely, lovely place.
I was now at Abingdon, officially named Abingdon-on-Thames, perhaps best known to some people as the birthplace of the band Radiohead. That aside, there are plenty of indications that this is the spiritual capital of the Vale of White Horse district, but it's unbelievable to me that this town stood above Reading, Maidenhead and even Windsor as the county town of Berkshire. It is a fairly interesting place though, and of course it has yet another Wetherspoons. One Guinness later, I made the horrifying realisation I was only halfway to Oxford, so I intended to make good pace out of Abingdon. Well, I would have, if it didn't start raining.
Just coming up to the roundabout for Radley, and something I didn't expect to happen is happening. It's raining, which is awful because I've not got a jacket, so that's not good.
Luckily for me, this rain was nothing near as major as I'd seen in West Oxfordshire, so I quickly found myself back on the road towards Radley in Kennington.
There behind me is Sports View, so I have officially tied up the route. Just need to get back to the station now. In Oxford at rush hour, it's very busy, as you can imagine. I remember once trying to get out of Oxford from John Radcliffe Hospital. It took probably about an hour because Oxford just gets so jam-packed during rush hour. That's why walking's better. You don't have to worry about traffic, although it is just a tad slower.
Soon after I got to Oxford and passed by the Radcliffe camera, I ticked yet another Wetherspoons off my list, the Swan and Castle, leaving there now just two in the county that I'd not been to yet. Having completed that journey, you'll see that all of Western and Northern Oxfordshire are pretty well covered by my footprints at this point. However, you'll notice a gaping hole in the southeast, and I intended to solve it. Despite me getting the bus to Tame during the major part of the series and thus skipping the leg, it left a really bad taste in my mouth. Imagine if I had a series called Walking Oxfordshire and it having a huge Oxford to Tame sized gap on the route map. For this reason, I made it a priority to do this leg of the walk the way it was meant to be done. In June, only a month after I completed the main route, I caught a train to Oxford to walk to Tame.
Okay, so it has been about a month, no, over a month since I finished the walk. It's taken me this long because when I finished the Oxfordshire walk I had such an injured foot. Like my left foot was very sprained for about 2 weeks, and then the weather was too good last week and the week before. Like we've just had a heat wave, so yeah, that's why it's taken me this long to get around to doing the pickup walks. But here we are doing them now. So the first one will be going from Oxford to Tame, what I originally intended on doing in the main bulk of the walk, but because reasons I couldn't do that.
The plan for this day would be the exact same as it was a month before. I'd officially start at Sportsview, past the John Radcliffe Hospital in Headington, and then find myself at the Oxford Ring Road, follow the A40 to Wheatley, and then follow a few minor roads to Great Milton, and then proceed northeast on the A329 to Tame. With this being a 17-mile day, I wasted no time in getting to Sportsview.
It seemed like it took a little longer actually to walk back here than it did when I was here a month ago, but I'm back outside Sportsview. So yeah, now we're here, we can officially start really walking that way for about 17 miles. I'm going to have a lot of fun today, aren't I? So we made it to Headington. We're almost as far as we made it up the other day. Back there's the Headington Shark, which has got a very interesting story, which I can't really remember right now. A lot of things are planning permission and that. It looks really, really weird. It's just a model of a shark in a house. Why? Why not? So we are at the bus stop where I got the bus last time. So every step I'm taking from here on out until I get to Tame is uncharted territory. There we go, starting now. Starting walking now. Unbelievably, I chose one of the only days in the summer of 2022 that felt slightly chilly to do this walk. However, a third of the way through the day, the heat started to crop up, so I needed to lose my hoodie and worry more about my bottles of water. However, shortly after leaving the A40 in Wheatley, I noticed a problem with my water supply. I just could have called into Asda to get myself a drink, because these bottles of water I've got taste disgusting. What's going on with these? These are absolutely vile. I need some fluid, you know, because it's pretty warm out. While the water was vile, I may have made a mistake dumping the contents into a drain. Let me tell you, it was a very lucky thing I found what I did later that day. For now, I continued southeast. Even though the water that I bought from home tasted horrible, I made a mistake of throwing it away, and I don't really want to get dehydrated. So what I did, I stopped in the little shop down there and got myself 2 bottles of water. Thank you, Great Milton. You survived me from being dehydrated. Also, on another note, this is the turning to get onto the road, at least to the A329. From there it's like a straight shot to Tame, but it's still 5 3/4 miles away. Still got a long way to go. Coming up to the M40, I noticed a problem on the horizon. Alright, just coming up to some road work. I think I can just pass through where the traffic cones are. Someone please tell me if I'm doing something wrong walking through the traffic cones in the closed lane. I felt like I was, but at the same time, there were no other routes I could have walked. Now beyond those roadworks, I arrived at the M40 again. Site sweeter than a footpath towards the end of the day. I think I've found a site that might just be better. That's the site we made it to Tame! While walking into Tame, I reflected on the day when I caught the bus to the town. Having now walked the route I would have taken, I don't think it would have been possible for me to walk 17 miles that day, let alone the remaining 2 legs of the trip. Postponing this walk by a month and resting the day I was meant to do it was a smart move, and I was glad I stitched up the route in the end. So I officially made it to Tame. Took a month. I did cheat to get it first time, but I finally officially walked from Oxford to Tame. I can put that chapter to bed now. As I catch the bus from Tame to Oxford, I can now return to a month in the past when I was travelling the same route in the opposite direction. When I left the bus that day, I immediately made my way towards the Travelodge. Worst way to have the whole day spent. I didn't successfully make it to Tame. Yeah, I did, but not in the way I'd like to. Okay, well, we made it. We can rest up for tomorrow. Disappointing day today. Hope for more, hope for better tomorrow. That's all we can do, isn't it? So after this roller coaster of towns and emotions, we're now firmly back in the major part of the journey with only 2 legs remaining. Would I make it to Caversham Bridge, fully circling the county, or would the massive upcoming leg destroy what confidence remained? You'll have to watch the final episode of Walk in Oxfordshire to find out.